Nerd On the Podcast is proudly partnered with Apogee Electronics and Odyssey Headphones, leaders in the field of audio.
Attention, please be advised. The following episode contains spoilers. Don't say we didn't warn you.
Like one way and then breaks it back into place.
One way and then the other leg.
God. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Nerd On the Podcast you didn't need but deserve, where all levels of nerd are welcome. By golly gee, we're giving it to you with the mallet and a smiley face. Today, we get a fresh start, grab our mallets, toss a friend a hair tie, and take a big bite out of the perfect egg sandwich with the latest
R.I.P.
DCEU installment in the full-on woman-directed, woman-written, and led cast with Birds of Prey and then Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn.
I do have to really quick, like a little footnote. The reason why Tom says, golly gee willikers, is that we told him to not cuss so much.
No. It was I knew to not cuss,
That's where
but
it
I
started.
kept messing it up. Yeah, Fantabulous always messes me up. But without further ado, let's introduce the host. I am Tom.
Ollie.
I'm Caitlin.
Corey.
And I am Josh, and this episode is brought to you in part by the members of the Nerd On Nation that is powered by Patreon. As a member of the Nerd On Nation, you do get fun stuff like extra bonus episodes,
Oh my
which is
God.
fun. Nobody else hears
Extra
those.
bonus episodes.
Extra bonus.
Not just
Sometimes,
bonus.
Even
Extra.
more than extra.
Sometimes we're spicy and we're
Yeah.
like, hey, let's do.
Whoa, I've
let's
never
do this.
heard.
Wow. And then you get Discord access where you can talk to us. You
About
can talk to other
everything.
fans.
Talking
from
all the time.
gardening to video games to all sorts of fun stuff.
Tech
Yeah.
porn.
Yeah, but as a member of the Nerd On Nation, you really do, you support us and you help us to be the best that we can be. And it allows us to grow. But yeah, check that out, nerdon.io/Patreon.
Thanks, Grandma.
Yeah. And we have a special announcement. We do.
We do.
Very special
As
announcement.
Tom runs Batman's bat nipples.
Very exciting.
I can't. What is no?
No.
Okay, the news.
Leave the cod piece alone.
Yep.
the announcements. We have recently kind of hinted that we have partnered with some companies. One of them being Apogee. Apogee we partnered with recently, and more on that in just a minute.
Ooh.
We use Apogee for our recording, our software. The interface that we use is Apogee, and we just love their products. They're a wonderful company.
Good people.
Really great people. And we partnered with Odyssey headphones, the ones that we are wearing right now.
Oh.
Look at that.
They are pretty fantastic. This is going to be a little addy because
You can quote me on this. They comfy as hell.
they comfy as hell. They sound so good. But they have all
Great
sorts
parts.
of kinds of headphones, gaming headphones, 3D headphones, which we're going to be putting together some content in the near future.
Yeah.
So, but
Also big news, baby.
also
Biggest
big news as related to
pretty
Bigger
Apogee.
than this bat symbol that was ever been on cinematic screens.
Wow.
As related to Apogee, we will be having, are you ready? Our very first live show.
What?
Live.
Nerd On Live Show, be part of it.
Nobody told me.
Yeah, we our very first live
No,
show,
they told
and
me.
we are incredibly excited.
When is it, Josh?
It's going to be March 7th at
Re-
8 p.m.
Remember, the 7th of
He's trying
March,
to make this a
September.
thing, and
It's
just
not a thing.
You had a whole
Hey,
flight to
John,
come up with
Quit
something.
trying
I
to
know,
make
but-
March Timber a thing. It's not going to be a
But
thing.
Josh,
You do better.
Ever shut up? When is it?
It's March 7th
Where?
at 8 p.m.
And where is it?
Apogee Studio in
Who can
Santa
go?
Monica. Everybody can go.
It's free for 50 free.
It's free 50
I almost
free.
said 30 free.
Free 40 free. It's free 90 free.
It's free, flirty, and free.
Yeah, there it is.
That actually sounds
there's
pretty
the
accurate.
There's the tagline. No, so we are very excited. Live
I'll flirt with your
audience.
family.
Share it with your friends, your family. If you're not in the area, share it with friends and family that are in the area. And
Or come to the area.
yeah, come to the
Come to the
area.
area.
But
We'll
if I
give you crisp
forget
high fives.
all this information, where can I go to check it out?
You can go to nerdon.io/live.
Wow.
Yeah, RSVP. We would love that because we do have to have a head count.
So if
Well,
I go there, is there any chance I might walk away with some sweet prizes?
I don't know, Tom. Is there?
Yeah.
Yes,
There's some chances.
Find out.
Yeah.
Fucking
there
give
are.
me
It's
the
gonna be fun.
land.
We're gonna be talking nerdy stuff. We're gonna have some guests. We're gonna have chances to win prizes. It's gonna be a good old
I was
fashioned
trying
time.
to give you, man.
And I was giving it back to
We
you, so
might
you have an
I
opportunity.
might even do a cartwheel.
Oh my
On-
God.
really?
You can count on that.
and then he'll
that
break
I
all
might.
his bones,
Yeah.
go to the hospital.
So,
There's a probability.
Oh yeah.
so yeah, that is coming up. So we would
But
love
no,
to
I
see
won't.
everybody there. And yeah, that's it. That is the housekeeping.
We're so excited.
Oh man, so
gonna be good.
exciting.
We're gonna get our nerd on all
yeah.
over you.
Oh yeah.
On the
No.
stage on.
All right,
No.
moving
In front of you.
on. So, Birds of Prey,
Yeah,
aka
Birds of
Bob,
Prey.
and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn. I'm going to say the full name every time.
I know.
Is
Wow,
a
this is
complete
gonna be a really long
film.
episode.
Yeah.
So at the end of the episode, we're going to rate it. And so that brings us to our first segment right now. Guess that grub.
They're gonna beat all the bad guys.
Then
I was kind of-
used to
No,
be
no,
a
no.
tower alone on the
No.
sea. You remain.
Actually, it's kind of
the light
related.
on the dark
It is.
side of
It's
me.
like
It's only like 2 steps
40
removed.
degrees of separation.
Yeah, right?
It is involved.
It was
only a
written for a
couple.
Batman film.
Yeah.
Not a pill.
So it's actually, Caitlin, it's actually
Did you
appropriate
know
right now.
that when it snows, my eyes
Now it's just
become
dead.
It's gone on too long.
Now
It's
it's
gone
gone
on
on
too long.
way too
Anyway,
long. Alright,
so
so
guess
guess
that
that
grub.
grub.
What's that, Tom?
If you are brave, I can pay you to a kiss from.
Sorry.
If you are
No.
brand new to Nerd On, thank you for joining us and enjoy the ride. Buckle up, baby. It's
know it.
our first segment of the show where we're going to go in a round table and guess
Half
who's
round.
going to have the lowest score from 0 out of 5. No matter how high the number is, the lowest one in the group becomes the grump for the week.
It's our way to kind of make a downer thing a fun thing.
Yeah. And if you're part of the Nerd On Nation, powered by
He's not
Patreon,
wrong.
you get to participate and become the
Oh.
Guess That Grumper Forrest
Stealing
Gumper
my
Man.
Sir.
spiel, huh, Tom?
Guess up Gator Man or girl.
I'm gonna start stealing his
or
spiels.
whatever you want to
Do
be.
it.
Because Gators
Where do
are
I
cool.
read comics? Nerd
Which one of those do I make a graphic out of?
I don't know, a lot of them. All of them.
Okay.
So yeah, since I always change it up and I never get it wrong, I am going to go first and say Caitlin should guess first.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'm
Whoa.
gonna say it's gonna be Ollie.
Ooh, me.
But it is a movie of strong female.
I know.
Yeah, but
that
it's not Marvel, so he doesn't care.
But maybe there's so many strong
But it's
female
also my
leads that
favorite
it
DC
cancels
character.
out.
But it's an odd number, right?
I
Who
don't
knows?
know.
All right,
It's my
Ali,
second
who you
favorite
got?
DC character.
Who you
For
got?
what it's worth.
Love remains
No.
Corey.
Ooh, baby.
All
right, Josh?
But you're supposed to.
I write them down, so I
Oh,
gotta
okay.
have to pay attention and keep track. I have to go
I'm
last.
going
But
to
you're
say
supposed to.
Tom.
Okay, so we have one for Ali, one for Tom, one for Corey.
the other DC shirt underneath.
Tom,
I'm going to guess Ali because that's just been a safe place for me to vote.
so it's two for Ali, one
fair.
for Tom,
It's
one
like
See
for
you on
Corey.
the
Ralph
Scantron.
Nader,
Uh,
Greenpeace.
I will say this is a tough one. This is a tough one. I'll say I kind of want to vote Tom because he's DC, but I kind of want to vote Tom. I'm gonna vote Tom.
All right. Wow.
So that's two for Tom, two for Ali,
Wow.
one for Corey. The Nerd On Nation does not help us break this tie because that is
Oh,
another
no.
vote for me.
Okay.
So that is two for Ali, two for Tom, two for Corey.
Three-way
All right. Hey, go us.
We like the thing most of the time.
live or die.
Yeah.
So
So there you are. There you have it.
like, comment, and subscribe.
We'll find out at the end of the episode who it was. But if you'd like to get an idea of who the Grump is, we're going to go into spoiler territory for that.
With our
I'm not stealing it from
The
you.
fuck?
100%.
Initial reactions.
Yeah,
I
or
stole
across
it.
the pond. Across the pond.
impressions.
Across the pond. It's
First
I forget
impressions.
what it is.
First impressions.
There it is.
impressions. Anyway,
Wow.
so
We're
I just
falling
wanted to
apart.
steal it.
Come to our
Caitlin-
live show.
since Caitlin always messes up and Josh always listens, he should go first.
Yeah.
Ollie. You guys got to be ready for the
My-
improv.
Yeah, I love it. Yes, and I went to the theater.
Dope, dope,
Uh,
dope, dope.
No, like to kind of we've been talking about this leading up to the movie. Like none of us really kind of knew it was happening, or like we knew it was happening, but like it kind of
Speak for
blindsided
yourself.
me. I for some reason didn't know it was happening for a while, up until like a few months before it came out. And Harley Quinn and the Joker were, I think, the sort of the redeeming parts of Suicide Squad. So naturally, going into the second movie, I was a bit more, I guess,
I'd say
excited.
about half that's true.
It's actually
Well-
quote unquote called a spin-off movie. It's not called a sequel.
Or yeah,
It's
going into this like spinoff, I was looking forward to like having fun with one of the characters that I really enjoyed, and for the most part, I kind of did. There was a lot that I didn't love, which we'll go into, but a lot of really great visuals. I think Margot Robbie did a pretty good job most of the time as Harley Quinn, and
Ooh.
yeah,
Oh,
Hot take.
hot take.
All right,
Hot
Josh,
take.
I'd like to hear Tom's
yeah.
initial reaction.
Caitlin?
Okay,
Yeah.
Jesus, who's going?
Tom.
Tom.
All right. So you know me, the DC boy, who's petting his statuette.
Yeah,
of
someone
Ben
take it
Affleck.
from him. It's
Batman.
very
So-
distracting.
Well, the audience who are listening don't know, and
but I have ADD,
it's
so
fine.
if you could stop.
and so I was really interested
That's fine.
in seeing where this was going to go, mainly because the Birds of Prey has never included Harley Quinn, but the fact that Margot Robbie was producing it and that she had gone to bat for this film back in 2015.
Gone to bat.
Yeah, I know. And I was really excited to kind of see what this would turn out to be, because there hasn't been a girl team up or a woman team up comic book movie, and as much as everyone likes to tease it, no one's really done it. And so seeing what this story would be, but then so watching the film, I was like, oh, this isn't like, to me, a woman team up movie at all. This is like the DC version of like a Guy Ritchie movie with like a fucking plot and like
Sure.
all these things are happening and intertwining within each other.
That's a good way to put it.
And I was really like, oh, okay, I could see this. And to me, it's more of the acceptance and learning of like the way that Warner Brothers wants to go with the DC films, and like each film is just going to be their own thing, and they're going to have their own identities and flavors. And then you kind of have to just meet them for where they are, because there is no Batman in this one. Spoilers. So it was
That's
like,
why he brought
Or Joker.
his own Batman
had
statue
to.
with him, and he's been petting it the whole time
Yeah.
because it's his consolation for no Batman in the film.
well, also it's because I didn't get the Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad, because I don't know if I wanted to buy it.
That's fair.
But with this one, if they did have like one of those statues, I totally would. So leave it at that, where I would totally buy the huge director's cut that would cost over $100
Oh.
to get this film.
Wow,
There you go.
Nice.
that's cool.
I'll go.
He's like, enough of this bullshit.
I actually really didn't know what to expect, to be perfectly honest. Suicide Squad. It's not
3 for
something that
3.
it's not something that it's something that I watched. I enjoyed the experience of, but it's something that kind of I flew under my radar isn't the right way to say it. It just didn't hit me very hard, where it was like, oh yeah. But
Was it-
this
Wasn't a mallet to the face.
Huh?
Wasn't a mallet to the
no,
face.
no. So I didn't quite know what to expect, but I mean, Harley Quinn aside, I'm a big fan of Margot. I've really enjoyed pretty much all of her films. I think she's extraordinary, and I love watching interviews with her. She just seems really cool.
She's only 29.
I know. But seeing this just a group of strong female characters, it's fun. I like the way that you said that Guy Ritchie type film.
It is.
But yeah, no, I dug it. It was an entertaining experience.
Cool.
Kaylin or Corey?
I went in expecting it to be exactly what it was, basically. I thought the team up was going to happen a little sooner than it did, but I went in being like, I'm ready for ladies to fight a bunch of people and be friends, maybe, probably, but also probably be assholes because it's Harley Quinn. And then they did exactly that, and I was like, yeah, good job.
Yeah.
Like if you could give this movie a pat on the back,
A
and be
high
like,
five. It
Good
sounded like
job,
she
you
wanted
did
to go
it.
up afterwards to the screen and
I
just
did
like,
actually. I was kind of like,
Okay, so Caitlin didn't like the movie. Go ahead,
I
Corey.
like the
You
movie.
didn't say it. Too bad.
I say it now.
I love Guy Ritchie type films.
Mhm.
So I fucking loved this movie.
Mm.
I will go into detail later in the show, but I honestly walked out of this theater with my wife and we were like, that was a lot of fucking fun. And I am going back to see it again, no doubt.
Oh.
Same.
It's just a blast. I mean, it's from start to finish. It's exactly kind of what I wanted from a Harley Quinn movie, really. Not so much a Birds of Prey movie,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
it has both in the title, so I'm fine with it. Harley centric. I loved Ewan's take on Black Mask. I could not get enough of that.
You know what? I would say this. He's probably one of my favorite villains.
I would.
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually have never heard of him.
Oh, ever? Black Mask is a lot of fun.
No,
he has a
just
very
Ewan
unique
McGregor's
take.
version.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say it's not a lot like
The original Black Mask is much more just like, hey, kill these guys and blah blah blah, and like
Except for a few
kill
runs.
Batman. I'm gonna hire Bane and Firefly and all these people, blah blah. And not
With the arms
fun.
like that?
But
Way
he
out?
still got the core of what the character is, which is this like thin-skinned, wants to be the cream of the crop Batman villains, but he never is. Never, So anytime anyone's laughing at him or not taking him seriously, he fucking
Freaks
hates
out.
that. So I thought that the twist on it to put him in this like kind of high society type character was absolutely wonderful. Ew.
But then you get there's a really good moment. It's not a good moment, but it's a really good character moment for Black Mask that I liked.
Yeah.
So from start to finish, I was in it to win it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So everyone at
Cool.
home knows what everyone feels, and if that's shedding more light on what our Grump ratings were. But we'll move on to the next two segments, which are brief synopsis and our production. So I'm going to try to make this under 5 minutes under
Good
mandate
luck.
of Josh, or else he kills me with the egg sandwich or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just going to be the joke now, Josh. So
I mean, we could do it real quick.
real quick. I mean, so Harley Quinn, who just broke up with Joker, is drinking her way to the bottom of the drain, and she gets in trouble with a lot of people. And so when she finally announces by exploding Ace Chemicals where she got her origin story that we got through an animated short snippet of the film, she blows it up, and then everyone knows that her and Joker are broken up. So now everyone is not afraid of Harley Quinn anymore and comes after her. This starts with Renee Montoya, who's like, cool, we got to bring her in now. But also starts with Black Mask, who's like, I'm going to kill her now. But also there has been a plot where Helena Bertinelli's family has this diamond that has an encoding of the bank account that has all their money that the Black Mask wants to get to, that this child, Cassandra Cain, steals and swallows. And her friend that she has in her apartment complex, which is Black Canary, aka Dinah Lance, is trying to protect her. So she uses Renee Montoya to try to help her. So all this comes to a head at a final moment at Amusement Mile at the Booby Trap, where they all have to fight together to fight off the Black Mask because he's trying to kill everybody, but he's caused everyone pain. But also this brings in the Huntress, aka
Who you find out is
Helena.
the little,
the daughter that survived this massacre. And they all work together to bring down and kill all the goons and gangbangers. That's what they call them in the movie, not me. And finally leads it to a cool sleight of hand trick that was introduced at the beginning of the film. And Black Mask explodes in fantabulous
Did you
fashion.
say explodes?
Explodes in
Explodes.
fantabulous fashion. And
It's so good.
Harley Quinn takes Cassandra Cain under her wing. And then the Birds of Prey is formed with Renee Montoya and Dina Lance, and Helena Bertinelli.
Done.
And also Victor Zsasz.
Victor Zsasz.
Oh, yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
butthole.
He was. I was okay.
good.
That's interesting about it. Yeah. So now
I'm very
moving
excited about
on
that.
to the production. Read us off, Ollie.
Distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures, who has also distributed the Harry Potter series, Inception, and the Lego Movie. Directed by Kathy Ann, who's done Last Night, According to My Mother, Dead Pigs, which is her first feature film. Produced by Margot Robbie, who has also done I, Tonya, Terminal, Promising Young Woman, Brian Junkelis, I believe, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Like All of Them, The Hunger Games sequels, and I, Tonya. Also produced by Sue Kroll, who's done A Star is Born, Motherless Brooklyn, and the Goldfinch.
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 That movie. Christina Hodson, who's written by Christina Hodson, who's done Shut In, Bumblebee, and the upcoming Flash and Batgirl. Interesting. That's good. Cast Margot Robbie, who's done I, Tonya, Wolf of Wall Street, and Focus. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who's done Scott Pilgrim versus the World, Final Destination 3, and Live Free or Die Hard. Journey Smollett Bell, who's done The Great Debaters, Underground TV Show, True Blood. Rosie Perez, who's done White Man Can't Jump, Do the Right Thing, Untamed Heart. Chris Messina, who's done Argo, Away We Go, and Devil.
Away we go, yes.
Ella J. Basco, who's done Veep, Grey's Anatomy and Teachers. Ali Wong, who's done Always Be My Maybe, American Housewife, Where Harry Met Sally 2, and Ewan McGregor.
Harry Met Sally 2 is a Funny or Die skit where Billy Crystal goes to the producers to pitch When Harry Met Sally 2. And
Got
she
it.
is one of the executives.
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
Huh.
Ewan McGregor, who, of course, has done Star Wars The Phantom Menace, Beginners, and Train Spotting.
Phantom Menace. Nice. You got specific with it. Huh? You can just send the Star Wars prequels. The Phantom Menace.
The Phantom Menace, best known
Specifically.
Release date January 7th, 2020, and The Island. Runtime 109 minutes. Budget is 97.1 million. We don't know the gross yet.
I'll get that
possibly coming to us now. Rotten Tomato score 81 critics. Critics.
Wow.
This movie made 81 credits. Galactic credits.
Will define.
And the release date was actually
and 84
February
for the
7th.
audience. What did I say?
January.
Okay.
I typically go a little bit late on the box office because it's always
So
changed.
it's accurate.
I usually do it the night before, and then Corey's like, "Well, it actually changed because this morning." I was like, "Man, fuck you, Corey."
Oh, hey.
But so it's now at 81.3 million.
Whoa.
It's breaking even so far.
Yeah, so
That's great.
Yeah. So 80,
Awesome.
81% critics.
Means
On
we
its
don't
way.
need that paper anymore.
Get it out of
Now
here.
it's done.
So
I was going to
violent.
nicely get
No.
rid of it.
No.
But
This is not a nice movie, Josh.
oh,
Yeah.
All right, so now
It's just
Oh.
business,
we
Josh.
move on to the meat and potatoes
Potatoes.
of
The
the
fun
show,
stuff.
which is our favorite parts, favorite characters, and then our qualms, and finally our rating. So let's go off first.
I'll go.
You know, I'll say
Oh.
the shot of the egg sandwich being made.
oh.
Yeah.
that egg
Oh my
I'll say
sandwich.
this.
I was actually going to say that too.
That was
egg sandwich.
probably the best food cinematography I've seen in a long time. This sounds super
Since
stupid.
like Dexter's
Yeah, I know.
opening.
Well,
Yeah.
But then I'll say
Right?
this, like I feel bad because I've seen Chef's Table, I've seen a lot of Mind of a Chef, I've seen a lot of Gordon Ramsay shit, but like those are like life of. I've even seen Burnt, which is Bradley Cooper's film,
This is cinema.
and I also saw Chef, and they didn't make food look anywhere near as good as that one egg sandwich.
I think that was
From
kind of the point, though,
Sal.
of that scene was that it was supposed to look
And there's been
as
movies
amazing.
about food that don't make food look that good, like Michelin star
Not
food.
that it's a comparison.
I'm just saying, I was like, wow, like, and to me, this is like the first MacGuffin of the film to make like that's when I lost my true love to realize how bad things were. I was like, to me, like I almost like rolled my eyes because I'm like, they're making this fucking about a sandwich, and then I realized like they're making it about a sandwich because it's Harley Quinn, right? So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, but I was like, they fucking made that sandwich look fucking
Looks
good.
So
Fun fact: we
good.
learned on Hot Ones she's allergic to egg whites.
whites.
So
Oh,
they
yeah.
they had to make a different
Duck
sandwich.
egg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
duck
Duck-
egg.
Yeah.
Duck eggs instead.
so
which
yeah,
sounds amazing.
First
also.
off, that's my first. Go ahead, let everyone else go.
I mean, the precinct, her invading the precinct. That scene
Oh.
with her with the
With the-
non-lethals were
With the explosive,
explosive.
Yeah.
Like some of them were confetti,
Hacky
some of them were,
sacks.
Oh, yeah.
That
and then like her coming through the blue and red,
Well,
Oh,
not
yeah.
even
like
that.
smoke.
Also, like one
Yes.
room was yellow, the bottom layer was like white, and then the
Yeah.
top layer was like blue.
Mhm.
Like the way that they tinted the glass, the
Yeah.
frosted glass. I was like, they really went into like the production design for this.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
they make this look so
that was
good.
so fun.
Yeah.
I
For
am-
me, it was right after it was the bat, the baseball, when she gets the baseball bat scene.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The coke-induced
The
fight.
bounce.
Oh my
bat
God,
That
that-
was
yeah, the
so
bouncing
was
off
good.
one of my
No,
favorite
I-
moments. And then she jumps up and hits the other guy. I was like, this is a comic book. This is right here.
Well, when
Yeah.
she did that, I audibly went, "Oh!"
Yeah.
because
The
like
whole
it,
audience
it looks
did.
like it looked like it hurts so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
Just
lot of
the
things
look on
in
her
this movie
face
look
too
like-
when she finds the bat and she's like, oh, hell yeah.
I like how that
We're
fight
ready.
scene was almost Jackie Chan-ish.
Yeah.
Just
Yes.
using the things that are around.
It was.
Everywhere.
which makes it
The
good.
lighter.
It wasn't edited like Jackie
No.
Chan. But
No.
yeah, that whole sequence I was in awe of
Yeah.
with the baseball
The
bat.
lighter,
Yeah, and the coke.
the
and
lighter was really funny.
That man's
Yeah.
poor
the
beard.
lighter was,
He just-
I know.
he kinda
He's
like-
dead.
You're like, you could have prevented that a little
Could
bit.
have.
Well, he's a little
There was a
he's
good
a
amount
little
of
biker
time.
gang boy. He's gonna lose his status, his cred.
She also bounced a baseball bat off the ground to hit
Yeah.
someone. So let's pull it back
Give
a little bit.
little credibility
Little
there.
perspective.
Yeah. The hair tie moment, obviously.
Anyone else?
Was amazing.
Bruce.
Bruce,
The hyena.
The hunk?
I
After that
loved
hunky Wayne
the
guy.
hyena so much. Also, I love that like the dude is being creepy, but immediately is eaten.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like
I thought that was really fitting, especially, and that's the thing where you can get away with those kind of tendencies.
yeah.
Where those are the initial reactions, like, man, fuck this guy, and then it's like, well, Harley Quinn's going, oh, she killed him.
Yep, he's dead. He is.
Yeah.
A truly terrifying and awesome moment was when Black Mask or
Roman
Sionis.
Sionis,
Romy.
when somebody's just laughing
Oh,
near him
see,
and
that's the
he
part,
just loses his mind.
I thought that was a wonderful moment for the character.
Yeah.
It's a
Oh,
very
yeah. No,
terrible,
to show
terrible
exactly
moment for
who
the
he
woman.
is. Yeah.
And I felt so bad,
Yeah.
but I was kind of like,
For the and her husband.
well, to me, this is kind of like, I really want to make sure, like, I was watching, I was like, I'm really going to hate it if I like him more than I like other people.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to really miss that if he dies or anything like that. But then this is like, oh,
He's awful.
he is a piece of shit.
Yeah, because there are some moments where you're like, I like crossbows. Why don't I own her?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, this doesn't get away.
even when he was like peeling people's faces off, I wasn't like, it still was like, oh, this is like a comic booky thing. So it was like removed.
Well, especially
enough
when he's like,
for
is that
it
a
to-
snot bubble?
Yeah.
Ew,
Right.
kill her.
And he changes his mind.
I've
So it was
changed
like
my mind.
comical enough to be like, you're a villain, but you're like a comic book villain, so it's fine. So like that scene in particular made him feel like a very real, terrifying human.
Real threat.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing was, and this is a very particular part of the scene and how it was directed and stuff like that. It was like, he makes this guy who's her friend cut her dress open and rip it off. But she doesn't rip it off entirely. And so she's not fully exposed. It's just tattered version of this dress. And so that's where I kind of like where it's like,
he's not fully stripping down, but he's doing enough damage to tear away security as well as beauty from things.
Right.
And so like, it's not like I'm leaving you vulnerable, but I'm like, I'm leaving you in ruin.
Yeah.
And I really kind of like that there was that motif and methodology that like they left in there. Because you could have just, had her stripped down, be naked. They had the rated R, right?
It wasn't a sexual thing for him. It was like just embarrass her.
Yeah. And so I was like, because it's like enough where you feel like he's such a dirtbag, but it's also pulled back enough where it's like, it's not full on like hating women.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like a full on massage.
Yeah. It was just for the laughing.
And they call me, oh, it's a crossbow killer. No, like and they didn't like for me. I was like, oh, I'm afraid that they're gonna overuse this, but they didn't. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun that.
Well, it was funny right when she ends up at Doc's place and she says they call me, and I was like, God, this is going to get really cheesy. And then all of a sudden they did. I was like, okay, cool. They make up the cheesiness. And I was like, they're leaning into it because it's like, and I was thinking about it too. I was like, I always say one thing I really loved about this film is that like it's written really well.
Yeah.
And like for the amount of like that they're going to have to just like shoe in a lot of these people without origin stories, like the Guy Ritchie motif goes in a real, it like is used in such a well-mannered like mechanism, like it's used so well in this. So I'm like, you get the origins out of the way and they're punchy and they're all in there and they break up the monotony of like just one frame here, one moving to the next scene. It's like, here's an origin, boom, get out, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And also shows like the character like quirkiness. And so like the fact that Huntress is kind of like, there's one character that is used in a Guy Ritchie film, but like it's kind of like they're so uptight, but then also they're awkward in their own way. And so I'm like, that was really good. I loved it. When she was talking to the mirror.
For me, the hair tie thing, my wife and I both. You want a hair tie in the middle of this fight was one of my favorite moments. She's like, yeah, sure. Puts it on. Is fighting people while putting her hair up.
You see her like move her hair. She goes, ah!
Yeah. And then
so accurate. Though.
That and the whatchamacallit, the I can start wherever the fuck I want. 4 minutes earlier. Like, oh, okay, cool. Fine, that's great.
Well, that's cool because it leads, and that's the film term of the unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
And so, like, she is reliable, but then also you're having a playful space where you're kind of just like on this ride and you're being told the journey where it goes. And like,
when you need to know it.
Yeah, it breaks, for a formula, it breaks any type of, I guess, any preconceived notions of how pacing should be done. Because it happens at the whim of like, oh, now you're gonna need information, so here's the information, and it's done in that way. Because I was like, I had a lot of hesitation where I was like, there's a fucking lot of narration here. And I was like, fucking, I'm all about that Charlie Kaufman baby adaptation. Don't you fucking use narration. But then I was like, oh, they're using it because it's part of what the style of the movie that they're doing.
Right.
I love the disjointed plot.
Mm-hmm.
Like I dig that shit.
Yeah.
It's just when it's going back and forth. But what I liked about this is it wasn't. There was one moment where it was previous. She hadn't started doing that yet. It was just the story going along. And then you were kind of like, wait, how did she get from there to there?
Okay, so
then she goes, oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. And she kind of breaks it. And it's like, I loved it.
You see her get captured by the goons, and all of a sudden you see her break into the precinct. You're like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Because I was like, what the fuck happened? I was like,
Oh,
okay, I see. And that was the first time, like, again, where a movie made me think twice. And I was like, cool. I'm glad.
Was the first time a movie made you think twice?
For a long time. Before it's kind of like, this is going to happen.
That's very different from this is the first time. I was like, holy shit.
I mean, like the last time was probably Inception.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, oh, I don't know the
That's
rules.
not my point. That's not my point. I was just clarifying.
Yeah. I'm that smart.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. Anyone else favorite parts?
I was like, damn, baby.
I loved that Harley Quinn was very like a real person here. That she did like roller derby and had like little fans and people that knew her, and that she's like leaving the bar. And I can't remember her name other than Black Canary.
Dinah
is like, and you're the asshole nobody likes. And she's like,
are you the girl that no one listens to?
Yeah. Like, so there were just those like real world interactions of like, you would be a really obnoxious person that no one would like. And there was a lot of that made her feel like she actually existed.
Yeah.
Well, also
They're
like
grounding moments.
I think that's also really cool and that's one thing I really liked how this version of Gotham, like it wasn't high metropolitan like in Dark Knight. It wasn't very very the animated series is very Art Deco-y. It also wasn't very gothic like in Burton. It was shot primarily in LA. And so I really liked that you felt the ground level of it. Like any of the chasing scenes during like the little Chinatown sequences, like I loved because it was like it feels like this is real and not fully like a propped up city.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a green screen. It feels like cool. Like there are actually people who are living here, and these are like the day-to-day things because everything that works within the Batman realm of DC is like it is supposed to be the ground level things where like there are jewelry robbers and that's the fucking mission. Or it's like there's people who just trying to steal someone's money or just trying to kill somebody. That's it. It's not we're going to poison the air
The
and
water hole.
everyone's like it's like all right. It's not like a giant Ra's al Ghul thing. It's not a giant Bane plot. It's just like we're gonna kill people.
Yeah.
And I really liked that grounded feeling because it also felt like this happens all the time.
Yeah.
And I like that inner working where it's like I know how the world works in this place.
Yeah, those are the issues that I have mostly with the other DC movies. Is like it's you're taking the plot way too seriously, and it's like you're cramming way too much story and terminology into this, and it doesn't. And at the same time, it's still trying to have that like comedic kind of spin on it, which doesn't really fit together. I think that's maybe one of the flaws of that. But I think in this case, you have that kind of more relaxed writing, and you get to complement it with like kind of simpler visuals and simpler story.
Yeah, instead of like overthrowing so many CG things, like it's just like cool. You gotta have cool costume
Let your characters
design.
drive it.
Yeah. I also really loved Victor Zsasz in this.
Okay, so that's and that was such a. I was like
when he said Zsasz, I was like, oh
yeah. I was like, so
Can you guys explain?
Yeah, so Victor Zsasz is like one of like Batman's like
big boys,
like main like run in like villains that he comes across, and
he's one of the rogues gallery.
And you see a snippet of him in Batman Begins. He's the first guy that Dr. Crane is trying to get into Arkham Asylum, and you see him again at the end of the film.
Also, if you've ever played Arkham Asylum, the video game,
he's the
first
boss.
Yeah.
He's so pretty much whenever he kills someone, he does like a tally mark on his body, and like he's known in the DC universe as like this like just normal human. But he's like a serial killer that is like on the loose all the time.
He loves killing
and like kills people and like usually with a knife. And so it was a little interesting when I saw him with a gun every once in a while. I was like, but when he had a knife, but also just so like he's typically like bald, and, and he has like no eyebrows. Sometimes he has like like more Mad Maxy look.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's just like in normal orange attire because he's just broken out of prison.
But in the comics, he's typically saving a spot for Batman.
Yeah, and so that was cool that I really liked in here where he has blonde hair. He kind of has this weird pseudo like romantic relationship thing with Black
I want to be the
Mask.
best boy.
Yeah, and like I really liked that. I was like, oh.
He was like jealous.
I like that because it gives him much more like nuance in terms of character, and also Chris Messina who portrays him. Like when I saw him, I was like, oh, okay, who's this guy gonna be? He's gonna be Zsasz? What the hell? And I was like, oh, all right.
I see you.
It was so interesting, and that's when I really, really did kind of let go of the reins of like these aren't going to be the characters that I know from the comic books,
right?
And we're gonna just let the writer kind of let them live in their own spaces. And to me, my only really like what I want is to see more of them, and hopefully that inspires other people to be like, I want to know more about this character and how that's done.
Yeah,
because that is what got me to be like, I want to know who Bane is, other than guy who hangs out with Poison Ivy.
Yeah,
and then I was like, oh, he's way different.
Yeah,
he's way different.
I also loved all of Roman's different ews. Like all the different, there's the like the
tiny
specifically
like
grossed out ew, and then when he's talking about the tiny head, he's like ew. Loved it.
Yeah,
his characterization was for me like a home run. I every minute that Ewan was on screen, I was like, yes, more of this, please.
Yeah,
even the bad parts, I was like, this is what I want. This is the perfect villain for Harley.
The scenic design was beautiful, especially at the end with
the
the kind of the carnival area.
I was gonna say I really liked like Harley's final like legs that she had to stand on, and when she
Use the last bullet.
Yeah, well, yeah, and she's going against. She's trying to find Black Mask, and it's the line that's said in the trailer where it's like, people in Gotham should be afraid of me, Harley Quinn. I'm the bad guy, and I was like, this is kind of dope. This feels really cool.
Then she shot a statue.
Like it, yeah. I love. I was
no, I know. I'm
yeah.
just saying
because she's not a marksman, right? But like, I just really liked that feeling. It felt like, I'm not here to compare one thing or the other, but to me, like, when other characters in their third act have to stand up for who they are, this felt way better than what other characters have done. And I was like, really like, I don't know if it's Margot Robbie. I don't know if it was the writing. I don't know if it was like the time that this was taking place. But like it was the compoundedness of like throughout the entire story, her narrative is you're nothing without Joker. And she has to try to like, she hates where she lives. She hates herself and all this. And then now she's trying to like, I'm trying to save this kid now. And I was like, this is dope. Like, and that's actually a funny thing because I didn't like Suicide Squad for the same reasons other people did. I didn't like Suicide Squad because I find it very hard to like villains. Like I find it very hard to like a movie about villains. And so with this movie, I was very like, and so that was a really interesting thing. My thing was not like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know. So for me, like going into this, like, I don't know if I'm going to like a movie about Harley Quinn. Because like Harley Quinn's a bad guy. So I'm like, how am I going to like this?
Well, especially like.
Well, you like the TV show.
And so I like TV show because it does the same thing as this.
Yeah.
It's more, and the thing is like they both aren't trying, both versions of the character aren't trying to kill people. They're both just trying to establish independence and be like, I'm my own person, because she was created by Bruce Timm and Paul Dini as the girlfriend of the Joker. And so stepping out of that light, and even in the real world context,
that role,
in the real world context, everyone's like, oh, Joker and Harley, Joker and Harley, Joker and Harley. But in the comic books, it's grown so far past. And like I like they made a little nod to it in the animated where like it showed her with boyfriend after boyfriend, then girlfriend, and like she's had a relationship with Poison Ivy, and so like that's who her actual person she's closest to in the comic books is now. And so like to me, it's like Harley Quinn's so different from how she was incepted to create it. And like now I was like, like I'm liking this, and I want to see now like a trilogy of just Harley Quinn movies of like what happens to her.
Well, I mean, it's like real world. Harley Quinn has grown such a
huge following,
almost
and rivals Batman.
And it's.
He does for me.
I think what's cool is it inspires to expand her story, her world, to see like, oh, she's not just a side piece for.
And that was a funny thing that a lot of people I think were concerned about with how she was portrayed in Suicide Squad. And it's because like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, that's the best relationship you want to be in. I'm swaying my head, everyone listening. And because it's a violent, fucking abusive relationship, and it sucks. And it's toxic as shit. And the only version of the Joker and Harley relationship that's almost acceptable, not acceptable, is Bruce Timm's version, because it's a cartoon, quote unquote, for kids. But even then, it's terrible. And then the live action one didn't do anything to help out with that. So like this version of Harley Quinn, like being a character by herself, not as the Joker's girlfriend, like I'm like, I'm here for it, because I'm just like, yeah, let the character stand on her 2 feet. And so that scene really, I was like, I get it. I'm here for this.
Favorite characters? Are we?
I could go on and on, but it's fine.
But I mean, if you have,
same.
everybody was like slowing down, so I was like,
no, I can keep going.
I was just talking too much. That's
a little bit. No,
You
can step down from your soapbox now.
Favorite character? I'll say I loved Huntress.
Okay.
I just her awkwardness, but badassum.
But also, we all have a crush on Mary
Badassum.
Elizabeth Winstead too. So
yeah, pretty much.
Jeez.
It didn't come out on audio, so everyone I cracked
Actually,
my
I heard
neck.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard
Josh
it too.
compresses and audios it. Anyways,
leave it in.
So other than Harley Quinn,
Other than Harley Quinn,
other than Harley Quinn, favorite character, because she's my favorite character.
Same. Are we not supposed to do Harley Quinn?
no, he just said Huntress, and I don't know if that was supposed to be because.
No, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
Who's your second favorite?
Okay, then Harley Quinn would be my favorite, and then Huntress. I was just staying away from.
So
Harley
favorite Quinn. Huntress or favorite Harley Quinn, second Black Mask.
Nice.
Mine would be Harley Quinn and then Black Canary.
I'm same.
Actually,
don't change it on me.
No.
That's what I thought.
Don't go changing on me.
It wasn't because of you. It was coincidence time.
I know.
It's Harley and Black Mask all day.
Yeah.
That was such a great duet that they had for this film. That was
Ewan
fantastic.
just-
Even the
Period.
dancing number.
Ewan he's just amazing.
It was such. You can tell he was having fun with this,
Yeah.
which was awesome.
Really, everybody watching their performances, it was really. This one actually is something. I forget what we watched recently, where it was hard to pick a character because everybody's performance was.
Yeah.
just
This
so
wasn't easy either. I loved everyone in this movie.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like both of those by a long shot,
Yeah.
but those just happened to be my favorite. I liked everyone in this movie, and like shout out to Rosie Perez. She's great in everything.
You know what happens?
Well, yeah.
You know,
White Man Can't Jump is one of my favorite comedies.
You know what happens to her, right? Who she turns into?
Mm-mm.
She turns into the Question.
Oh, nice.
So everyone at home listening, the Question is originally Vic Sage, who is a guy with like a duster. It's actually who Rorschach was based off of from Watchmen.
He's got a blue hat, blue duster, and his face is blank, and he could remangle his face to look like anyone's. But Renee Montoya is like one of the highest like detectives in GCPD, and just how the movie said, like she drank her way into like failure. And then she ends up getting like taken under the wing by Vic Sage, and he says, "Go train under Richard Dragon." Richard Dragon is known by the League of Shadows, by Shiva as well as David Kane, who's an assassin. And he's like the guy who's like, if you go through me, then you're ready to join the League of Assassins. And he does that, but then she like, there's just a lot of cool shit where I'm like,
whoa,
Like it's interesting. I would say like the way that they're doing everyone's origins. Like
Yeah.
Helena Bertinelli's origin is pretty high intact. Black Canary's, unless you want to talk about multiverse, it's never going to be intact.
Yeah. I dug it all.
Do you know what happens to Cassandra Cain, right?
Cassandra
What?
Cain?
Cassandra
Who's
Cain,
she?
who she
No.
becomes? She
No.
becomes Batgirl.
what?
So,
So Cassandra Cain, in the comics, so in League of Shadows, there was Lady Shiva and David Kane, who end up having a child, and they're like, we're gonna breed the best soldier ever, and becomes Cassandra Cain. And she actually doesn't learn how to speak. And her first language is to read her opponent's battle
Oh.
techniques and shit, right?
Oh.
And so like she ends up growing up like kind of a mute, and she has like broken English. And then she actually goes on her first assignment with David Kane, and then David Kane takes her into like, we're gonna go kill this guy, blah blah. And she thinks it's a game, and then she finally kills him. And she's like, oh my god, my dad's a bad guy, and she leaves. And actually all the Birds of Prey's like origins really kind of are surrounded around like in Gotham. There was a moment where there was a giant earthquake, and they called it No Man's Land. And then like all the police left, everyone left, and only Batman and a few Gotham police stayed to like try to maintain peace. And Cassandra Cain was one of the few, and Oracle, Robert Gordon, brought her in, found out she didn't speak, and then brought her under her wing. But then later on, introduced her to Bruce and all that stuff, and Bruce brought her in as a Batgirl because she's like, I used to be
Nice.
Batgirl.
Holy
Yeah.
crap!
But since you don't speak, we're gonna cover your mouth. So she's the one with the stitches on her mouth.
Oh, gotcha.
And then currently now her origin's a little bit retconned where she's now called Orphan. And it's really cool stuff.
Jeez.
And
Check
so
that
when
out.
I saw a Black Mask have the knife to her neck, I'm like, is he gonna cut it? And then she's gonna become mute? And does that be and that's where I was like,
too violent.
well, no, I was more like, I don't know if I like the imagery or the ideology of a man taking a voice from a woman in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know what they're gonna
no,
do.
No.
I took your ring.
I will say this also. Oh, maybe it's a qualm, so we'll find out.
Yeah. We'll
I
see.
didn't hate the kid.
Wow.
Wow.
Mark
She was
the
great.
date in your calendars,
didn't.
y'all.
I liked-
Tom
I-
didn't
I
hate a
liked her a lot.
child.
I didn't
she-
hate the
she worked, I
child
think.
because she didn't act like a fucking stupid. She was
Helpful in the plot. She
Right.
became
She
the
acted like an
MacGuffin.
adult. Right.
But then,
Yes,
like-
yes.
okay.
okay. All right, I'm done.
We get it. She
All
didn't
right,
act like a child at all, and that's why he liked the
so-
child.
Also grabbing the ring.
No, I had one more favorite part,
Oh.
and it was Harley breaking the driver's legs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was a really good.
It was a great
Felt great.
visual, first of all, great stunt, but also the wave of from the
Oh,
audience
yeah.
behind me
Yeah.
was like,
No one was
yes,
comfortable
I'm
during
here
that
for this.
moment.
And they
And the
showed
sound.
it twice.
Mm-hmm.
And the sound. there's
Yeah.
just-
The imagery
Yeah.
of and then that break and the break where she breaks the leg one way and then breaks it back into
Oh, and
place.
the way, and then the other
my
leg.
God. I will say also, and that was the interesting thing with this, like compared to like Deadpool violence.
Yeah.
This is like the middle. So like if I can say Deadpool versus like Logan, so those are the spectrum. This
Sure.
leaned on the Deadpool close to Logan's side, where it was like Logan. Well, Deadpool's like when something happened, like everyone's rubber, and the people who are getting hurt don't matter. Here I was like. Everything
Actions
is
have consequences.
so painful.
Actions have
Yeah.
consequences,
Oh
y'all.
my goodness.
And that they
Kudos to
came
the sound
back.
mixing
They
on
weren't
that.
just random like NPCs
They were like,
floating
we
around.
rated this R.
Yeah.
All right.
So now qualms.
Yeah.
Okay. Who wants to start?
I'll start. It's not really a Birds of Prey movie, and it's called
Correct.
Birds of Prey. So that's my qualm.
Okay.
I kind of agree. I think they could have gone with something in the more of the realm of Harley Quinn as the center of the title, as opposed to Birds of Prey, and then like lead into a Birds of Prey movie.
Yeah, but
perhaps. But
that's literally my only qualm. For me, this is, to me, besides, I'm gonna not include the Zack Snyder cut of BVS. Maybe I will. This is the best DCEU movie I've ever seen.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
As I continue to
would
rub
agree.
my BVS stats,
I think I
stop.
might include BVS director's cut in that, but it's such a different
movie.
that it's hard. But that wasn't released in theaters. So if we're talking just
It's
really
really-
theaters, this is the best
I'd say
DCEU
it's literally comparing
movie.
like Return of the King to like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Yeah. So for me, this is the greatest theatrical release of a DCEU
Wow.
movie.
I think I
Nice.
might be on board with that.
Yeah.
I think I agree with that.
I walked out and my wife was like, "What do you think?" I was like, "This is the best one.
Wow.
This is the best."
I can go into my qualm.
Yeah.
Go for
which
it.
was
Qualm. One.
it kind of it's one really. I have small.
Let's hear it. No foreplay.
So okay, it's important to set up though, like that. I am a fan of Harley Quinn. I love strong female characters, right? This movie was a lot of fun, but the one thing that like stuck out to me immediately, and unfortunately for the movie, kept bothering me throughout the entire thing,
Yeah.
was how was like every guy was a misogynist, and every female like was like an empowered good person. I feel like that. I feel like it was a little too hard in the paint on the misogyny of like every guy that interacts
Not every
with her.
guy, but
I
a
felt
lot
like
of guys.
I'm
Lotus
having a
Flower?
hard time.
Not Doc. Yeah, I was like,
Except
not
for
Doc.
him.
was fine.
But even then, she's like he still let her down at the end.
And not the guy who made her the sandwich.
But it was
You don't know.
Sal.
It was for business.
you don't know.
Wait, you can say that about anyone then.
I know. It's true. I'm just saying the one.
Oh,
the
you don't know.
people-
So let's put him in the category.
like
No.
every man that she interacted with, and like it didn't bother me so much on Harley's like plot as much as it did with Rosie's Perez's plot. Like her
The
character,
captain.
like the captain, like every cop being like the same kind of thing, and like everybody's like cheering him when it's like she's gotten fired, or whatever, or quit or whatever. Like that was a little cliche mixed with like too much of that for me. Like it was
Sure.
too much to where it just stuck out, and it was kind of bothering me every time I kept coming back in. Like Ewan McGregor's character was like the right mix, but then like his surrounding cast, I feel like didn't get the benefit of his charming dialogue
My only
to offset that or whatever.
My only example, and no one wins, is actually because I was thinking about like Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
And that is like hard into the pain of it. It's just subtler the way it does it. But like
maybe
to me,
that's what it was.
I think that's the kind of prism that we are given to look through out of a female like produced film as well as directed and written,
right.
where this is kind of
And
like
produced.
the idea. I said produced
Oh, yeah.
first.
My bad.
That's fine.
But also produced.
But
But
also
we,
pro-
I
but we
understand
saw that
that it's-
together, bitch.
And I understand that it's there and it's part of the plot and
Well,
it's part of her story, and that's kind of the point of the movie.
And I think that's gonna be the narrative because like this is coming from, and I think like it gets green lit, and the thing where it's like that's kind of like where they're coming from, and so kind of taking that as like this is the story that they're feeling and they're understanding and how they see the world is. It's tough again to sell to somebody that I'm a male, so I don't
Mhm.
experience those things, but like it's
Like
interesting.
I felt like Wonder Woman was more subtle with it, even though that movie has a line of like no man can do that, and then she comes out and
well because it's like
so like
it's the
no man's
1920s.
my kind of take on it though is because it's Harley Quinn, she's not around many
Good
or
people.
any good people. She's around like these.
Well, his point was that Harley's didn't bother.
it wasn't as
it
much.
was
Yeah,
it
like
was more
she still encountered it
the
a
detective
little bit, but it
and-
was more like the detectives and like I didn't like how they portrayed cops in this movie too either. Like it was
Okay.
like every cop was an idiot. Like her new partner was an idiot. Like the captain was a piece of shit for taking all the credit or whatever and taking
That's
a
fair.
promotion.
Yeah.
And like
So I was
every other
thinking
cop.
the same thing as you. And then he
Twice.
said, "Not Harley," and I was like, "Oh, okay."
And then she takes out.
It's a good point.
I mean, it was like I said, it was my favorite sequence, but she single-handedly takes out an entire police precinct. I'm like, okay, like that's not I don't care about that being like fantastical, but it's painting cops also in a bad light in that sense.
That's fair. Yeah.
And so that was just kind of like, it just stuck out to me because, I mean,
they are Gotham cops though.
It's
most of them are owned by the mob. Yeah.
So maybe.
But also, cops in movies, unless it's Michael Bay, they're pretty dumb.
That's not
no
good.
more dead cops.
No more dead.
Okay, that's not good.
Wow.
So
all right, Nolan's got it too.
those are the only things that really kind of dampened the experience for me.
That's fair.
Caitlin?
My qualms are with the fight choreography a little bit. There were just a couple things, like because there was so much fight choreography, it to me needed to be really, really, really fluid completely. And there were too many times where I was like, you were a little slow there. You're waiting. I can see you reacting before anything happened.
There was a couple of moments where I was like, oh, this is
yeah,
because you have so many really great fight scenes that it was
many.
it was so minor, but there were a couple of moments where I was like,
happened in the Nolan films
it
too.
Didn't ruin anything for me, but it was just like if I'm gonna have qualms, that would be one of them.
Yeah.
Just because
You know what I'm
there
talking
were
about?
enough of them for me to notice.
R.I.P. that fight scene on the
With
rooftop.
Catwoman, where the guy gets up, he's like, and then
he
throws
falls, he
himself.
flies.
He's like 10 feet away
He
from
pow-
him.
he
Like,
Power
what
Rangers.
happened to you?
He Power Rangers.
I heard your qualm.
And then
I heard your qualm.
I think
Jesus Christ, Joss.
I think
Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon.
Don't kill my.
Try
to write that out.
Doc turning on her made me really sad.
Yeah.
Like I
But it's
get
supposed to.
it. I know, and I know the point of it. I just it's a personal baggage qualm of like there couldn't be one.
You set him up as such
add
a
on
cool,
that,
a cool guy.
Well,
and
to
then,
add on that, and that's kind of the thing, and I've talked about this before, and this is like a kind of a tangent where it's like I've talked about like racism, and it's like sometimes people could be racist and smiling at you at the same time, where it's like sometimes people are fucking you and they're being nice about it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the shitty thing about her life, and it's like and so when I saw that, I was like, that was supposed to be me. I was supposed to be the old Asian guy with the crazy kooky lady living above.
But then,
But without that, we don't get a movie.
and so, well, no, when that happened, I was like, fuck. And that's where it was kind of like, you do feel that, like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, no one here is good. And, like, that's kind of like the sad shit about fucking Gotham,
Gotham,
City,
baby.
Yeah.
That's why rent's so cheap and everyone can't leave.
Yeah.
But,
Poor
Josh
guys.
Qualms?
I just have a couple.
Only two now.
Yeah. I don't know if it was the theater, because that's the thing when it's a mix qualm.
It's tough.
It's tough because I don't know if it's if it's a mix
Last
like
few
for
films,
the theater.
Last few films I've watched, there's always a mix problem.
When you say mix, I was like, mix of what?
Margaritas.
There were a few spots that I couldn't understand the dialogue.
Oh.
Like it could be the theater. That's the thing. Like where it was, I just couldn't understand it, and so that was a little thing that I was like, wait, what did they just say?
Interesting.
And then the only other qualm I really had was I felt like the end was a little anticlimactic in a sense that I felt like it was like Deus Ex superpower or Deus Ex grenade. Like it felt a little anticlimactic for me.
Sure.
And it was a little bit, I had a little bit of an inkling of believability where I had to really stretch. I can't think of the term.
Stretch your imagination?
Stretch
Suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, suspension of disbelief, where it's like for a movie that has been so, even though the fight scenes have been fantastical and all that kind of stuff, I had a hard time being like, okay, so we took out a whole horde of these
Goons,
by ourselves, and then we have a superpower that shows up, which I was like, when's that gonna show up? When's that gonna show up? And then it did at the end, and then there's a car chase, which was cool and everything. It was just, that's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
It felt a little anticlimactic.
If they didn't have her pass out, I would have been like, that should have come sooner.
Yeah.
But since it's like if she does this, she's out for the count kind of thing.
And it's one of those things that it's not a qualm that ruins the movie for me. And like, they have kind of set it up about how she's holding back something. And so, her passing out kind of saves
made it make sense.
Yeah, because if she had done it earlier, they're like, okay, now we fight the rest.
Lead with that next
without
time.
her.
I mean, that also, just that point that she passes out after makes it so that she can't use it all the time.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of, why didn't you just, why? Oh, yeah, you're right.
Oh.
Well, and that's what happens in and that's why I think in shonen anime, that's why I think fighting mechanics is so important. Because it's like if, in My Hero Academia, if some character's like, I have a new power, it's like, well, fucking use that all the time then. It's like, well, it costs a fucking heavy toll. It's like, oh.
Right.
I can't do it.
You can't just snap the Infinity Gauntlet because half your fucking body explodes.
Yeah. And they're like, oh.
Yeah.
I'd be just snap fingers all day.
Snap your bagels.
For me, it's a little bit of like, I feel those things that you guys were all talking about. And I think it's because of the budget.
Really?
And I think it's because the budget's less than $100 million.
Yeah. Most Marvel movies are about $300 or more $million.
Jiminy
So I'm like, to me,
Christmas
I think
cake.
that's all just those kind of things.
Yeah.
Put that in perspective.
Because I look at
300
it.
is a small Marvel movie.
Yeah. And so, like, I mean, 80 million isn't even technically called blockbuster budget.
What the fuck?
Yeah. It's usually 180 million. It's a blockbuster budget.
Oh,
so
wow.
Nolan's been working
I didn't know
underneath
that.
that all the time too.
Yeah.
And so like things like that where it's like I'm seeing those seams of like if you look at every chase scene, they're driving at fucking normal speed. And then because they're driving in LA, they shot primarily in LA. They didn't shoot over in
Chicago,
Vancouver, and in Atlanta. Those are like the big places that are shooting things like this. In London as well. And so when I see that, I'm kind of like, maybe if you shot in those places, you get the tax credit, but also you're taking away jobs from non-LA people who'd be able to fucking move to LA for these fucking jobs.
Yeah.
And so so seeing those things, I definitely would agree to those things, but to me, I saw to me, it was just seeing the budget. I'm like, I see the budget. And it's like, if this fucking does well and people fucking love it and critics are liking it, and I just want it to have legs, so it's like, fucking next one, double the budget.
Yeah.
Because I think Harley Quinn and then Birds of Prey both deserve their own movies.
Yeah.
And those could be fucking great.
I would love a Birds of Prey movie. Proper.
Yeah. So for me, honestly, my only qualm other than that, it's probably I want more Huntress.
Yeah.
I
I'll
would
give you
want
that.
more Huntress because I really fell in love with her character because of the Arrow series. And they did a really wonderful job in that show, but they have fucking several hours in a season.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
I'd be on board that one of the things, it wasn't enough to make it a qualm, but if they can drop the way too serious type of shit for her.
Yeah.
Like if she can come into her own a little more.
Well, I mean, I would imagine it being like, and I hate to use this fucking term, it'd be like a Drax kind of thing where it's
Yeah.
like she starts getting in, like falling in line with herself and being like, I could be serious and funny at the same
yeah,
time.
that's
and
what
get
I
it.
want.
Yeah.
It just, by the end of it, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
blend in now.
Out of
Yeah.
curiosity,
They like you.
because you just said you would love to see a Birds of Prey movie proper. Do you, because I don't know anything, do you feel like this movie sets the possibility of that happening?
Yeah, the end of it was exact. They call themselves Birds of Prey. Was like, there you go.
And,
There you go.
and the
Okay.
thing about the team is that they have revolving leaders. So every once in a while, so I mean, to me, I think that's why Christina Hodson is is writing Batgirl, because Batgirl is supposed to be one of the team members, Oracle technically.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
I would be down for just like Birds of Prey. It's always called Birds of Prey, but then like that
Rotates.
and the Fantabulous, that part is what's different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Every time, that'd be cool.
Oh, okay. I like that.
And I
And
mean,
focus
it'd
on
be
someone
cool.
else each time.
And it'd be cool if they put in
Good idea, Ollie.
Lady Shiva as like the villain. Lady Shiva, she's like one of the assassins for the League of Shadows, and she's quote unquote never lost a hand-to-hand fight. Batman and her have never really concluded a fight,
Interesting.
and so that's like the cool thing about it.
Ratings?
Rating.
So either Josh or Caitlin is first.
Oh, one qualm I
Oh.
didn't qualify just because I remembered I said it was at the top of the show. I said Margot Robbie does a good job
Most of the time.
Most of the time. Mainly, the problem I had was there was a couple moments, and I really wish I could remember the specific lines
So it's out.
where her accent fell apart a little bit for me, and I don't know if it was just something I was. It wasn't the police scene because that she comes in with like a British thing. That was fine, but it was like I can't remember where it was though.
I'm gonna do what people did for Christian Bale and The Dark Knight, and about the growly voice. He has one accent. He's doing an American accent, and in that American accent, another accent. So give them a goddamn break.
No, yeah. I just wanted to clarify, but it wasn't really like
I'm gonna protect
A real,
her
like a
like
full-on
people protected
qualm.
Bale.
right.
Well, it's like when Hank Azaria talked about why.
Apu.
No. Why? Oh my God, what's his name? The king of voices for WB,
Oh,
who did Bugs Bunny and Daffy
yeah.
Duck.
Mel Blanc.
Mel Blanc.
Yeah.
He was saying he was so amazing because there's a scene and he's like, no other voiceover artist I think could do it this well, where he's doing Bugs Bunny, doing an impression of Daffy, which is a voice he does. And then he's doing Daffy, doing an impression of Bugs Bunny, which is another voice he does.
Yeah.
So it's hard to find how would a character I do an impression of a character I do, and how do I do that? So it's the same thing. How do I do an American accent?
So an Australian
now,
girl.
how do I do another accent? on top of
Doing
that?
an American and then also a more
an
Boston,
exaggerated like Long Island.
Bronxy. Yeah.
It's just not like as effortless as that accent can be sometimes.
Sure.
From like native speakers, but like
I mean, even then, Benedict Cumberbatch was slipping a little bit in Black Mass.
Yeah.
that's fine.
But he's fucking great. And I mean, so those are people who are like great at what they do.
Benedict Cumberbatch was slipping in Black Mask.
Black Mass.
Mass.
He did a Boston accent, and I was like, it sounds like Peter Griffin.
I'll give a shout
I
out
thought you said
though.
Black Mask.
Hugh Laurie never slipped once.
During House.
I don't know how he did it.
Oh man!
Anyway,
somehow.
ratings.
He also has the
Anyway,
Blues album in that accent, right?
Yeah.
Ratings.
Rating. So Kaylin or Josh?
Josh first.
Josh.
Because Josh always makes other people go first.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
Wow.
Wowza. Wowza from
Kaylin,
Bowser.
go ahead.
Kaylin.
I'm gonna give it a 4.7
4.
because I liked it, and now I want a duck egg sandwich.
Ollie.
I give this a 3.9. It just didn't.
Wow.
Ultimately, it didn't come together
Oh.
as cohesive as I wanted to, and I wanted a bit more stylization. Just because I didn't make those comments earlier.
Stylize it. Like
I
you want it
wanted
more
it-
highly stylized?
I
we're
wanted
done
it
with
more
quant.
stylized.
Okay.
Oh, hey, Corey.
Me? It's 4.8.
4.8.
Ooh.
So if we have an anti-grump, it's Corey.
Mm-hmm.
But
Tom?
today we have 2 grumps.
3.9?
No way.
And I'm the DC boy. I'm
And
the
you're
one
the
So
who
I was
DC.
right. I was
DCs.
like, I want to do it though. So since I am the anti-grump, I will read shout out to no one voted for Ali, actually. So we
Wow.
have just a shout out to Jared and Brock, who guessed Tom. You nailed it. You're the
Nice.
guest
Good
grump. You're the
job.
guest grumper guesser.
Good Forrest Gump.
There it is.
You nailed it.
Awesome.
And the thing is, for me, it's like it's not the same as other DC films. I'm not going to try to make it be one of those, but it is
Yeah.
one of those like I really, really, really enjoy the film, but I wouldn't call it one of those masterpiece films.
Yeah.
Fair.
And that's why I think like if Harley Quinn gets a fucking sequel, I think it's gonna be like that Spider-Man 2 Dark Knight shit. You know what I'm saying? Woo.
But for me, this is the cream of the crop, baby.
Uh,
This is it.
but imagine how more, and that's the
Hey,
thing.
you don't have to convince me. I just gave it a 4.8.
I know, but I'm so that's what I'm saying. I'm so excited for where it goes.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for where it
That's
goes.
part of it.
Yeah.
Part of my rating is A, the excitement, B, seeing, for me it was highly stylized, like my experience in comparison to the other ones.
Way more stylized than any other comic book movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, even within the DCEU, I mean, Aquaman was really bright and colorful, but this was like
They played with a lot of light. They played with a lot of light and water, but this one like they were playing with everything.
Yeah.
But
And
also
so-
being like I would actually put this in kind of like a grounded area.
Yeah.
So it's a
Mm.
little bit more natural. So the stylization was
Like,
like perfect.
I was gonna say like Kathy Yan is pulling herself to become like, you know, I hate to say it,
She
where it's
killed
like,
it.
like putting someone else's name on it, but it's like almost an Edgar Wrightiness, and where I'm like, that's the style I want, and like not a lot of other superhero films give you that. Like I don't think other than maybe Kick-Ass gives you a
Maybe.
style like that.
Mhm.
Gives you like
Yeah.
vibrancy and liveness with characters and colors.
I mean, from the way they treated her egg scene escape, better than any Guy Ritchie escape movie. Looking at you, Aladdin. That scene alone, I was like, I'm fucking sold.
well, especially when
Well,
she's
and,
like
like,
flawlessly
they made me
executed.
care more about a fucking sandwich
Oh my god.
than I have about a lot of characters in a lot of movies.
I also like how when she gets like punched in the face and kind of like blacks out
Oh,
for a
the
minute. The
dance
dance sequence.
Did you
Oh.
like? Tell me what you
Yeah.
Oh
thought.
my god, that was
It
fucking
was
amazing.
so good.
The diamonds
Like,
are a girl's best friend. It was
Yeah,
great.
and like all the weird masks
The
and
cool thing that I thought I liked about it was kind of like their take on like how her mind works.
yeah,
Mhm.
And
exactly.
to me, it's like it's not. She doesn't live by the same rules that we do. So like, in my mind, if I were to act like that, I'm being crazy asshole. But in her mind, she thinks of the world in like dancing like that. So
like a
it's
Marilyn Monroe number.
Yeah, and so I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, like the world makes so much more sense when you see that.
that was my
viewpoint.
wife's favorite moment.
Really.
That and the hair tie.
I also like what they did is because the thing that people I think seem to forget about Harley Quinn is that she has a PhD.
I know
Yeah.
the
She's
little
incredibly
the
smart.
psychiatrist
When
thing.
she-
the
when
moment.
she-
Psychoanalyzes.
Or when she's like, how do I get to be you? And she just tells this whole like, well, then you got to do this, and then you got to do that.
And then, but how
kinda
big her eyes got? She's like, well, you have to do these things. And then she like had a little twitch. I was
She's
like,
and by the way, I'm not paying for this stuff. I'm robbing this place. And I was like,
okay.
damn.
Okay, the change in shot in that was fucking great. Because it goes from just like a regular 2-shot, and then the camera then sits in the cart.
Yeah.
And like to me, those sequences are like remind me of like Adventureland and stuff like that, where it's like they're these like teen skatery romp films where I'm like, I fucking love that
shot and that energy. It's like
there's something really I've always wanted to make one of those shots one of these days.
Yeah.
She reminded me a lot of like the animated series Harley, which made me like her a lot more than I have like the previous when she was Harley in Suicide Squad.
It's not her fault. That's not her fault.
I know, but it just didn't land right. She was like manic pixie dream
I
maniac.
would say that whole movie didn't land right.
Yeah, but this was like what I wanted her to be, and it just was like perfect of her being psycho, but normal, but not, but crazy. I don't know. It's great.
Tom and I are silently disagreeing about Suicide Squad across the table.
I said a little bit,
and I said no,
a little bit.
No.
Anywho, that was a gush.
We've been gushing here.
Josh, sing us away.
Everybody at home, thank you so much for listening to us. We really do appreciate it, and we dig that you spend this time with us to hang out and hear our discussions. Please reach out to us. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Birds of Prey.
Or reach out to us live at our show.
Yeah.
March 7th.
Remember, the 7th of March, September.
No,
be there, be part to participate, and we will love you guys, and we'll know if you don't show up.
And we'll come for you.
It's true, we will.
Yeah, but do check that out, nerdon.io/live. RSVP, we would love to see you all.
RSVP is a VIP.
If you don't show up, I'll show up to your house and
you'll
I'll
be
give
a real
you an
OG.
entire update.
Wow.
You don't want that at the top of my voice.
I
Someone's
don't want
sleeping,
that.
we just break in, we're like,
What's up, everyone?
This is the weekly show in which
we're gonna yell our show at you.
Oh my God.
Yes, please stop by, rate and review us wherever you listen. That stuff does help us grow.
And it makes us feel nice. We
But
like getting
and
reviews.
check out our partners, Apogee and Odyssey. They really do create some amazing products. Odyssey has their headphones are really quite comfortable, really well made, and they're award-winning and up-and-coming. They're so
good.
I can't say enough about them. I'm really so pleased.
They're soft, they're light.
Even sensitive little
Chris.
Ollie likes them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, here. That?
what the fuck?
No, you don't.
That's the point.
Because I'm moving the headphones and they're so well built that they don't creak.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but yeah, that's everything. We really appreciate you. We love you. You know the drill. As always,
Nerd on!
Ending broadcast.